All right, welcome to Behind the Sermon and More. I'm super excited to have friends of mine here, Nathan and Ella Whitlow. Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, y'all are awesome. So I'm just now getting to know them. You guys have been in our church for how long?
What, about 4 years now?
4 years. Okay, awesome. Yeah. And I know I've seen you around, you've seen me around, but we've not had a chance to like really sit down and get to know one another. But here's a good thing for the dozens of listeners that we have that are going to hear this podcast. You guys have a pretty incredible story. And I think everyone that's listening to it, like they just need to hear it. It's pretty awesome. So had a chance right before the recording of this podcast to ask them a few questions about their story. I'd heard of their story and had a chance to ask them a few questions. And I know that you're going to be so blessed by hearing their story. So let's jump into it. You guys ready?
Sounds great.
All right, so let's start with this. Tell us a little bit of your background together. Like how long you've been married, but before that, like how did you meet? What was that whole story like? And what brings us here today? Tell us about you.
Yeah, we met in Memphis, about 6 years ago now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we got married about 5 years ago. And, we have one daughter. She is about to turn 1 year old Friday, actually.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been quite a whirlwind lately.
awesome.
Learning to be parents over the past year. And,
Yes.
anything you want to
That's
add?
awesome.
We met in Memphis. Nathan was working at his first job as an engineer, and I
Okay.
was in school for occupational therapy.
Okay.
And we knew that living in Memphis long term was not for us. And so we lived there for about a year after we got married. And then Nathan's job brought us here, and we loved it. And when they flew us out on the way home, I was like, "Can you just go get our stuff and our dog, and I'll stay here
Yeah.
because it's so nice."
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, like you have to
Are
come
you coming
help."
back with me? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
awesome.
Yeah.
So you're both, you're not from Memphis then, right?
No.
So
No.
where's like home for you?
So I'm originally from Northwest Arkansas,
Okay.
and
I'm
she's
from Southern Alabama.
Yep.
Come
down by
on.
Mobile.
Are you from, like, you can say LA then, right? You from LA? 'Cause I used to live in LA. I was
Oh,
in Dothan.
dear.
I was in Dothan, Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
from Fairhope.
Okay, that's awesome. So funny story about Mobile. I went to seminary in New Orleans. I did my doctoral work in New Orleans. So we would drive I-10. It was in Florida. So we'd drive I-10, out to New Orleans, and the underground
The tunnel.
tunnel.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we, my wife had never been, and she like gets claustrophobic. So we're going. I'm like preparing her. I'm like, hey, you're gonna go under, but you don't even know you're under the water or whatever. You're just in this tunnel. No big deal. She's like, all right, cool, we can handle that. So we get up to it, and there's something going on in the tunnel. So they divert us to like this more narrow. You probably are familiar with it. Super narrow tunnel that's a little bit longer, and like super. When I say narrow, like you could roll your window out and like touch the wall. So we got diverted there. So we're going in this tunnel, and then we get stopped in the middle of the tunnel. Yeah, like nowhere to go. She's like, you got to get out of here. I'm like, literally, you can't even open the door. It's that tight. Yeah. So she had a freak out moment, which was pretty awesome. I mean, I hated it at first, but it was like literally the worst thing that could have happened, and we were stuck in that tunnel for I don't know how long. We were there
Yeah.
a while. So anyway, I think about Mobile. When I think about Mobile, I think about that tunnel. So
You think about it very fondly.
Yes.
She thinks about it quite
yeah,
differently.
she's like never going there again. So. Yes. Anyway, that's awesome. Okay, so you ended up in Memphis because of work.
Yep.
You met there.
Yes.
Right, and fell in love there, and all the things.
did.
Okay, and what was next? What happened after that?
Yeah. So part of essentially right after we got married is when kind of our debt-free journey started.
Okay.
So Ella had some student loans that she brought into our marriage, and that we just knew at that moment we had to get it cleared out. It was 2021, middle of COVID. The student loan interest was paused, and we knew we needed to get this cleared out ASAP and take advantage of this opportunity we've been given.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of what started.
So met, fell in love, got married, right? All the things, and you knew before stepping into marriage that this student loan debt was going to be a bear, right?
Right.
You went to school for occupational therapy.
Yep.
There's a lot of school involved with that.
It's actually only a 2-year program, but it was
Okay.
more expensive because I went out of state.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was even more expensive. So I think all told, it was $150,000 for my master's, and then I had 15 from undergrad.
Come on.
And I can remember during one of our like very first dates, I was like, "Oh, like what do you do for work?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm an engineer." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, oh, "Cool." And he's like, "What do you do for work?" And I said, "Well, I'm a student." He was like, "Yeah, but like, what do you do for work?" And I said, "I'm a student." He was like, "Well, how do you earn money?" I said, "I don't. I have student loans." And he was like, "So you don't have a job?" And I'm like, "Student, student loans, no job." And he was like, "Okay." And so I think that was like one of the first moments where he was like, "Huh, okay,
Yeah.
this could be interesting."
Yeah. So this episode, by the way, is like which it'll be titled this way, but we're talking about like freedom from debt, and your story is pretty amazing to think about. So where we are so far is you guys met we said was your first date?
One of
the first dates.
The first dates.
Yep.
Yeah, you divulged that information, right? It's like, hey, just so you know, Nathan, what's going through your head?
Yeah, at that point, I thought she was a bit crazy. It's because at that time, I came from a background of I worked all the way through college.
Okay.
I came out with no student loans. I had scholarships. I was very fortunate, very blessed. I went to very cheap state college to try to get through all this as cheaply and easily as possible, and then to be on a date with this girl that has 6 figures in student loan debt that I'm obviously very interested in, and to hear her talk about that is just like, okay, there's some conversations that have got to be had here.
But it didn't scare you away.
Not immediately, no.
Okay, so you had this initial conversation. I guess you felt compelled, Ella, right, to say, hey, like I want to tell you this.
It wasn't so much that, it was just like me being honest. Like, no, I don't work. Like, I'm in school and this is my full focus.
Yeah.
Aside from the first semester, in hindsight, looking back, I should have and probably could have handled a job. But in that moment of time, I was like, oh, like I have student loans. Like, I'll pay them back later. It's fine. Like, I can just live and focus on doing school right now.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't more of a like me feeling compelled to like divulge anything. It was
Sure.
like, no, this is just my life right now, and this is how it is.
Yeah.
And all of your fellow students were doing the same thing too. None
Yeah.
of them were working.
Right.
So
Right.
it was all that you had
Yeah,
exposure to.
it's really normal.
Yeah. Which OT school is a bear, right? Like it's a whole.
The first
thing.
semester was because we had gross anatomy.
Yeah.
So we had to dissect someone who graciously donated their body so that we could learn.
Yeah.
But aside from that, that was the most like intense part.
Sure. Wow. Okay. So you had this initial awareness. Here's the thing going on, right? We know this is the situation we're in.
Yep.
But you continue to date. You continue to get to know one another. You fall in love. When did the conversation come back around of like, okay, how much student loan debt? We're about to be married. We're gonna have a shared finance thing. Like, how do we attack this? Like, when did you start having a conversation around that?
A lot of those conversations started prior to us getting engaged. We both took our initial dating like very intentionally and had a lot of these hard conversations from the beginning, to the point of when we got engaged and went through pre-marriage counseling. We did it with a couple from our church in Memphis, and we had already had all the conversations that they had on the list. Mm-hmm. So it made that process a lot easier, since we're just super intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
We had like lots of conversations about like, oh, hey, like, what would you like this to look like? Okay, that means that this is how, in order to do that, this is what we have to do first.
Yes.
And growing up, I didn't have a lot of financial literacy education.
Okay.
And so when Nathan would be like, oh, yeah, well, if you just invest this, over this period of time, given this rate of return, like this is what this could turn into, and this is what like we could do with it, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I know you're not lying to me, but like this is a foreign concept. Like the concept of like your money being able to work for you in addition to like you working hard for money was just something that was a foreign concept to me. And I was like, okay, like tell me more about that. Like, what does that mean? And so it's just lots of little small conversations over time that led to that.
Yeah. Even before engagement.
Yep.
Yeah. Pretty cool. So Nathan, would you say you grew up in an environment where this was talked about? Like you had a pretty healthy
Not
understanding?
extensively.
Okay.
I would say that there was some good models and bad models in my side of the family, and I kind of learned over time, and then I learned a lot more from getting involved with Dave's podcasts and listening through all of that.
Yeah.
So that is where I got a lot of the bulk of my financial knowledge, at least initially. I did, of course, the same finance courses that everybody's required to take in
Yeah.
high school,
Yeah.
the silly ones and whatnot. So
Dave Ramsey is who you're talking about when you say
yes, Dave Ramsey.
the
Sorry.
man.
Yeah.
Shout out Dave Ramsey. Yeah, awesome. Now, Ella, were you familiar with Dave Ramsey at all at that time?
I had taken part of like the high school curriculum that
Okay.
he offers in high school. I didn't do the full thing, just part of it was taught. And I thought that it was really silly.
Mm-hmm.
It was the opposite of everything that I had seen or like heard about.
Okay.
So that was like the extent of my knowledge.
Yeah. Now, did some of this come up when you so you say you got engaged, because right around the corner, you started having these conversations, your church was formative, all the things. You got engaged. Did any of this come up during your premarital counseling?
There was like a lesson that we did that was about finances, but growing up, Nathan's parents are divorced. My parents are now divorced, but we knew that money fights and money problems are a huge factor in divorce. And so we knew that that was not going to be a factor for us. So we were proactive when we took FPU. We did that together so that we could have a shared language about what money means and how we can use it as a tool and all of that stuff. So we did that. That was self-imposed.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did that together on top of the marriage counseling that our church did.
You guys were super intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah, in your dating and your engagement, you're super intentional. I love that. I think that's a lesson in and of itself for anyone listening. I think so many times that part is skipped. And what happens is, this isn't a marriage podcast, but what happens is there's all the like ooey gooey feelings, like, man, we're in love. And here's what I tell everyone, like at some point those go away. And it's not they go away forever, but at some point you're like, okay, real life sets in and you have to have these hard conversations, right? You have to know like where you stand on things.
You do.
And if you're not intentional about that, man, it's easy to like step in to the marriage, and now like some of those feelings start to wear a little bit, and then real life sets in. You're like, oh, I didn't know you thought this way about that, or I didn't know this is like a conviction of yours, and you didn't have those tough conversations, which makes it even more challenging. But you're absolutely right. I think it's still number one. The leading cause for divorce is around finances. It is. There's a second that's really close, and it had even teetered for number one at some point. And it's not money and social media; they're amoral things, right? So neither good nor bad, but could be used for either good or bad. And social media early on was connecting a lot of like old flames. And so what happened is a lot of the divorces were taking place because people had a bad day in their marriage and they reached out, had this, connection with someone that they knew from their past, and it, caused a thing. But money has always been like top of the list when it comes to that. So I love the intentionality around that. Now, when you talk about, hey, like we want to be in a position where, there's going through FPU, which is Financial Peace University, there's a healthy understanding of how we attack debt, how we manage our finances, how we steward this well to the glory of God. Did you discover some of your own personal, like personalities, right? So thinking about the way that you're shaped. Are you a spender? Are you a saver by nature? Like, did you do a self-assessment there and kind of discover who you are and how you're wired?
Yeah, and I think it's something we can talk about as we go through the podcast, because I think over time our perspectives have shifted.
Okay.
Where I started out very much the nerd, the saver. I was putting back money before we even got married to go back towards this debt.
Yeah.
And I was tracking via spreadsheets. I was doing all the things. I have an engineering background, and I now work in project management. So the engineering and math side of things, along with the project management planning, all were coming together to really push me down that saver mindset to really try to plan for this eventuality.
Yeah. Yeah. So you say that shifted some. Tell me more about that. Ella, would you say you started out the opposite of that? Were you like...
I would say that I was more of a free spirit living on a prayer.
Okay.
Like I had an idea of what I spent on groceries and rent and all that stuff, but like I never wrote anything down. It kind of lived free floating in my head.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
that's
Like,
how I
think I'm
operated.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This should be fine.
Okay, so and we'll get to this in detail in a little bit, but how has that shifted over the years? You've been married now how long?
5 years.
5 years. Okay, so how have you seen some of the shifts?
So I think a lot shifted when we started finally getting past all of the debt,
Yeah.
and then our finances were opening up. And I shifted to be more of a spender, still very much on the nerd side where I'm still tracking the finances. I still like all of that side, but I started to push for, hey, we can do this now. We can do a little bit more. But then Ella's passed, and her history with money started rising more so up to the top, where some of that insecurities were coming back out.
Like fear?
Yeah, fear.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh no, like we don't have enough. Like, we
Yeah.
can't do this. We can't do that. Even if it's something like as simple as like getting name brand toilet paper
Right.
instead of Great Value brand or whatever it is. So
Well-
I would say I've trended more towards saver.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to talk more about that because that's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
interesting. Nathan let out a pretty potent comment. You said when we got past the debt. Okay, so you're still entrenched in debt. You get married. You have $150,000+ of debt that you need to attack. New married couple trying to
Yep.
figure this thing out. You both have new jobs here in the Triangle at that point.
No, so we spent 1 year of marriage in Memphis.
Oh, you're 1 year in Memphis.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Okay.
In Memphis proper,
Okay.
which is not the safest place to
Okay.
be.
Okay.
And funny thing, down that line, we lived across the street from the FBI field office in a gated apartment community. Nothing incredibly special, but they still had cars stolen and apartments broken into.
Wow.
So that when Ella said that we knew this wasn't a place to raise a family,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
part of our indication.
That is interesting. I did a week-long mission trip in Memphis when I was younger with World Changers, and we put a new roof on a house. And there was one day they sent us home because there were some things happening in the neighborhood we were in that they were like the authorities came and said, "It's unsafe. You need to leave."
Yeah.
So Memphis can be I'm suppose like a lot of places, but it can be tough. So you knew it was challenging. It sounds like you already had your wake up moment of like, hey, we got to attack this. So you went through FPU, all this stuff, simultaneously going through premarital counseling, all the things. When did you have that conversation where you're like, hey, we need to change? Right? Because you're a year in Memphis. Were you actively the whole time looking for a change of scenery? Like when did you have that moment where you're like, hey, we need to complete scenery change?
So I think at that point, it was just the two of us and our dog, and we were looking at doing remote jobs for Nathan.
Okay.
And the idea was that he would work a remote job and that I would do travel OT. At the time, like the money was very hot. Like we could go like all these cool places, throw our stuff in storage, and like just like have fun and pay off debt. And I had just gotten a new job. And so we decided to put that on pause for a little bit. And we had committed to, okay, like if I take this job, we're going to be here for another year at least. And I came home like my third day of work and I was, oh my gosh, guess what I did today? And Nathan's like, yeah, that's great. This company wants to interview me. And I'm like, cool. Yeah, like whatever. It'll be remote. Like remote jobs were like all the rage.
Sure.
And he was like, no, like we would have to move. And I'm like, okay, well, move where? And he's like, to Raleigh, North Carolina. And I'm like, okay. And he was like, don't say anything to your boss yet. Like, I don't even know like what this company's about, like what the position is, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's just wait a little bit.
Because at that time, I had been looking for about 6 months.
Okay.
And there really wasn't anything that kind of lined up. So when this recruiter reached out to me, it's like any other LinkedIn recruiter that you get. You never really know the way it's going to go. But I felt like I needed to actually explore this.
Okay.
And and
so then he went through like 2 or 3 rounds of interviews, and then it got to the point where the recruiter was like, okay, they want to fly you out. And Nathan was like, well, you're going to fly me and my wife out because I don't get to make big decisions like this in a vacuum. Like, you're going to fly the both of us out. And the recruiter was like, okay, like, I don't know how they're going to go for it. I'm like, well, they're either going to go for it or we're not going to take the job. Like, that's how it's going to be. And so they flew us both out. And at that point, I had to tell my boss because I had no PTO days. We're like 90 days into me being at this new job. And she was like, okay, well, like, what does that mean? And I was like, I can't tell you what it means. Like, we're flying out to see like if it's a good fit. We don't know like any of the numbers, like the benefits, the area. Like we could hate it. Like I can't tell you anything. And so then flew out. They made sure that Nathan wasn't an alien, that he was who he said he was. And I'm driving around Cary looking like, oh, like this is a nice place. Like we could live here. And then we got back and they offered him the job. And then we thought about it, prayed about it, and we were like, okay, yeah, like we got to go. It makes too much sense to go.
And that's huge. So the Lord began stirring in your hearts, right? You didn't know if it was going to be travel, OT, remote job for you. Like you were trying to figure all that out, but the Lord just opened this door.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you both fly out, and it ends up being like, okay, we think God's in it. God's obviously stirring in you the whole time that, like, hey, there is a change coming. We don't know exactly what it is. Been praying about it, and this door opened. Praise God. When it comes to this massive amount of debt that you're having to deal with, like where are you in the debt within this year, right? You've been married a year. You're making this big move, big life change. How are you managing to pay for this debt? What are you doing?
Anything and everything.
Okay. So you were already attacking day one. You're attacking the debt. Okay.
I think it was a week after we got back from our honeymoon. Nathan had saved up some money in the year that we were engaged.
Okay.
And he was like, okay, when we get back, like we're going to dump it on it. And I was like, okay. And so the day comes and
I made her push the button.
Yep. He like entered in all the information. He was like, okay, like we're going to do this. And I was like, all right. He was like, no, you do it. You click it. You make it go away. And I was like, oh, and I cried.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just felt so awful, so guilty. And not because of anything like Nathan said or did, but it was all self-imposed. Like, I'm going to make this money vanish into the ether because of choices that I made by myself. And he just freely was like, yeah, like we're going to do it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So that was, I think, a big testament of just like his safety and security in that, like, like you were worth at least this, more than this to me.
That's such an important point too. What a gospel moment, right? Of just like, number one, understanding that that's how the enemy works. He wants us to feel shame over all kinds of things. And yeah, he can use anything for us to, get in that headspace. And obviously that was something you were wrestling with. But what a cool gospel moment to say, like, man, like, no, this is not you. This is us. I remember a friend of mine who he started pastoring a church that had this like crazy amount of debt, literally to the point where no one wanted to pastor this church. And like, cause they were just like, no way, man. Like, we don't even know if we're going to make payroll each week cause the debt was so crazy. And the first thing he said was, this isn't your debt. This is our debt. And that's just like, that's the picture I see, right? Like you knew that.
Exactly.
Nathan going in. It's not that you're trying to, not that you're a hero or anything. It's just like, man, you're my wife. We're one. And this is ours.
Part of it.
Yeah, this is ours. It's not yours. This is ours, and we're going to attack this together. I think that's beautiful. It's awesome. Very cool. So you had started that immediately. Now you're making the move. How did that affect things? Because I know that I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. You have to find a home. You've got to. There's lots of expenses. Even though new jobs, you're probably getting paid maybe a little more than you were before, but still, there's lots that goes into making a huge life change that can.
Thankfully, I was fortunate. Like the company that I work for is phenomenal, and they gave us money for the move.
Nice.
So that handled a lot of those situations.
Yeah.
And before we knew it, we were loading up my car in the back of a U-Haul and going through the mountains.
Come on.
On the way here.
Yeah. So you were able to stay on track even through this major shift.
Yeah, I think we did. I think at this point, like the interest like wasn't accruing because of COVID, and so we went like into storm mode. And so we know like we have this big move coming up. We know that moves are expensive, and so we just paid the minimums and we just stockpiled the rest to cover like the U-Haul or like anything like big unexpected that the company wasn't going to cover, and packed our cars and got on the interstate, and here we are.
Yeah.
Okay. So by the time you got here, how much debt did you have left? And you can just ballpark this, but
50?
Probably about 50,000 left.
Okay.
At that point, we knew that the end was in sight. We moved here in May 2022, and we knew we wanted it gone by the end of the year.
Come on.
Yep.
And you just attacked it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We splurged, and we had been living in a 1-bedroom apartment. And when I moved in after we got married, I was like, we need a garage. Like we had mountain bikes and he had a kayak. And I was like, there's not enough room for you, me, and the dog. We need to get a garage. And so we rented a garage downstairs. And then when we moved here, we were like, we got a dog. We know that the debt is going to be gone before the end of this year.
Yeah.
And so we opted to rent a house instead of an apartment. And
Yeah.
it felt like a mansion.
Yeah, yeah.
It was wonderful. I was like, we don't have to technically walk the dog anymore. She has
Yeah.
her own backyard. Like, this is great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what did it feel like when you started? I mean, Dave Ramsey talks a lot about the snowball effect. When you started to see that snowball catch momentum and just plow down the hill, what did that feel like?
Yeah, it was incredible. One of the main drivers behind being so aggressive with all this is, since these are grad student loans, they're in the 7 to 8% range.
Wow.
And we did the math on it, and it was going to be about $1,000 a month just to service it. And that was to make no progress. So we had to attack it when we could, because if we didn't, then it was going to follow us for much, much longer. And
They would need their own bedroom.
yeah, when we started knocking out these small loans and letting, and start attacking the larger loans, that it felt really good when we got down to, I think you probably started out with about 8 different loans, and we got down to the last 2, the big ones. It was an absolute slog to get through the last 2 of them, but it was really nice at the beginning to see us clear very quickly those first few.
Yeah, that's encouraging. Yeah. So there's several things I want to ask here. Number one, we see in Proverbs 22, like the borrower is slave to the lender, and you feel the weight of that, right? You feel like, man, you feel hamstrung, especially when you start thinking about the 7 to 8% interest and just to service it, $1,000 a month. I mean, it's just incredible. You feel like you're drowning, and there's just nowhere for you to go. To see that, hey man, like we're able to service some of those smaller loans, and then to see that snowball effect take place, it does encourage you to the point where you're like, hey, there is a way out, and we can get through this. But it didn't just happen, right? You think about all the preparation that you guys did prior to your engagement, through your engagement, in the early year of your marriage, through the transition of moving to this area. You stayed consistent and you stayed committed. What are some of the formative things when it comes to your faith in the Lord that like helped you to stay consistent and disciplined through this process? Because again, discouragement, shame, feeling like, man, I'm missing out on something because you're having to make some sacrifices. Things that you would normally want to purchase are now going to service debt. Like, how did you plow through all that when it comes to, like looking to Jesus as you seek to faithfully, like, hey, I don't want to be a slave to this anymore. Yeah. Like, what are some of the things that you learned? What are some lessons that God taught you?
Oh gosh, I feel like our family motto is we do hard things.
Okay.
And so you can do the hard thing now, or it can be harder later. And so what is it? Like Hebrews 12:11, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but like it leads to like a harvest of righteousness from those like who learn from it. So like the pain and the effort, it was worth it because we paid off the debt, and now, we get to live differently. But it was such like a unifying force, for there to be such like a big problem on the outside for Nathan and I to fight together. Like it brought us so close. So I don't wish for like other people to like have to go through that, but then like also like just how it brought us so close together. Like we had no other choice. It was him and I against the world, and God was just so faithful. And, oh, hey, like here's this job opportunity. Yeah. God's providing. We can, okay, now we're a step closer. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, like somebody tipped like an extra $20 on grocery delivery. Oh, great. Like it's through like those little unexpected things that, you wouldn't think about happening that were just like, hey, like it's going to be okay. That's how I thought about it.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's looking at it from a stewardship perspective. Yeah. It's that we looked at it, it's like we've been given these skills, we've been given this income, and that we need to steward it properly because it's not ours. Yeah. And we were just talking about it earlier when we were discussing this question, because if someone entrusts you with some money and you squander it, you don't just hurt yourself, you hurt your relationship with that other person. Yeah. And so if we were to squander what God has given us, that we hurt our relationship with God.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good. Yeah, it's similar to what we preached Sunday, right? We were in Acts, latter part of chapter 4, talking about Barnabas, how he purchased a field and laid it at the feet of the apostles, and then juxtapose that with Ananias and Sapphira, where again, nothing wrong with handling the money how they saw fit, but they had promised to give it all, and they actually kept some back.
Right.
And I think it's chapter 5, verses 3 and 4. It talks about, man, you're not just lying to people; you're lying to the Spirit of God. Like you're lying to God.
Yeah.
And yeah, like we're entrusted with that stewardship, right? Of like, man, I want to honor King Jesus in the way that I manage what He's entrusted to me. And it sounds like you guys started out that way. And what I'm curious about is if you know someone's listening to this and they're like, you know what, like great for them. They paid off $150,000 plus, which there's some cool stuff we want to talk about there in just a minute. Great for them, but I feel like I didn't start well. I feel like I'm continuing to make decisions that are just like spiraling me further into this debt, and I don't see a way out. Like it seems like they had opportunity to service the debt and get it taken care of, but someone like me could never do it. Like, what would you say to that person? Because I imagine you had some thoughts of like, it feels insurmountable. Feels like there's just no way. What would you say to that person that feels like there's no way out for me? Good for them, would never work for me. What would you say to that person?
I think it starts with taking the next right step. It's if you are in a position where you're recognizing that you're going down the wrong path, you can't just continue going down that path, and your path isn't going to look exactly like ours. You will need to determine a step that's going to take you in the right direction, even if it's a small one, because like we talked about the snowball method. The reason why the snowball method is so effective is because it starts small, and it starts with small steps that you can see rewards very early on. Yeah. And when you start seeing those early rewards, things start building. Your confidence gets stronger, and you're able to do way more than you would have been able to do if you had said, you know what, there's I can't go from 0 to 165,000. There's just no way. But, if you are in a different position, you can go from 0 to 100, 0 to 200 and start there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I had a neighbor that we were actually telling this story to, and his neighbor here in Apex, and our story inspired him. He's a bit older than us, and he started talking about this with his wife, and they started taking just small steps in their own life, not really following Dave Ramsey, not following the plan or anything, but just taking some very small steps in the right direction. And he told me just a few months after the fact, he's like, we just started doing some small things and incredible things happened. Like they were able to clear some debt that they never thought they were going to be able to clear out, that it wasn't realistic. And it was just starting small and looking for just little gains here and there that compounded over time.
So encouraging too, right?
Yeah, it is.
Come on. I love that. And think about how the Lord's used your story, right, to be a testimony to your neighbor, right? And so many others. But think about just, man, like if God can do it in them, He can do it in me. So that, I think that's huge for the listener too, that feels like, hey, great for them, could never happen to me. That's just not true. You're normal, just like everybody else. Yeah. And it may not, to your point, it may not, your path is going to look different. It may not be exactly like yours.
It's not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy. Yeah.
If it were easy, everybody would do it.
That's right. But how'd you say it? Take the next right step?
Yep. Take the next right step.
Just take the next right step. I love that. That's amazing. All right. So here's something really cool we hadn't talked about. We have talked about Dave Ramsey. He's awesome. He barefoots, right? Y'all know what that is? On the lake. He lives on the lake.
Skiing.
Skiing. So I've barefooted several times, and you have to go really fast to barefoot. So
better than me. I've tried skiing, and I just wipe out
really?
every time.
Yeah. Well, I don't have the picture in here, but I pastor a church on like the most beautiful lake in Florida. And that's not just my opinion. It's just, it's objective truth. It is the most beautiful lake in Florida. And that's where I learned to barefoot. But you have to go really, really fast, which means when you fall really, really hard. But he's obviously been huge in your life, right? Just like the way the Lord's blessed him to talk about finances, to be very real, to be very black and white. Like if you've listened to his podcast at all, it's just very black and white. Like either you're making a dumb decision or you're making a good decision. And there's grace that's in there, but he's very clear. you guys had some experience with Dave Ramsey. Tell us about that. Not just FPU, but like
So
beyond that.
once we were getting close to paying off the student loans, we were like, listening to the show, we heard people do debt-free screams. And I didn't really get it. I was like, oh, why? Like, why go do that?
Yeah.
But then, like, as we got closer and closer, we were like, oh, like, we could turn it into a trip, like, an opportunity to tell our story.
Yeah.
And so we applied, and they emailed back, and I was like, oh, we're not going to hear. Like, millions of people listen to this show. I'm sure, like, lots of people apply.
Yeah.
And then answered some questions just to make sure, like, hey, like, did you actually do what you said you did? And answered those truthfully and sent them back. And they're like, cool. Like, these are the dates that we have available. When would you like to come?
Wow.
And so looked at my school schedule and Nathan's work schedule, and we're like, okay, like, this date works. And so we went and were given the opportunity to be on the show and kind of tell Dave and the world our story.
Come on. So when
Yeah.
when was that? When were you on the show?
April 2023.
Come on. What was the experience like? Tell me about that.
It was wild. So it's like they get you in there and you're on the stage outside of the booth. You're able to see them inside through this glass, and they mic you up, and you're going through all the checks, and then they just kind of thrust you into the middle of it, and
Wow.
you know very little what to expect, and they come back from commercial break, and then they're panning right to you, and you're in the spotlight, and they just start asking you questions just about our story and
Yeah.
what we did, and yeah, it was wild.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and
That is
then
so awesome.
yeah, and then after the fact, they come out, they come meet us and shake their hands, take pictures.
Yeah.
They give us a gift and all that too. We
Come
got
on.
little challenge coins and.
That is
Yeah.
so awesome, man. That's such a cool experience. And honestly, like, the coolest thing about it is it just affirms like all of the hard work that you did. Man, like, you got to celebrate that with the person who led you, like, through the scriptures and that helped formulate a plan. So I know there's other like ways to do this other than Dave Ramsey, but he's been formative for my wife and I as well. We still use every dollar. Like, that's still something
We do too.
Yep.
You do, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So there's some really cool resources out there for people who are listening, and just to be like encouraging to everyone that is tuning into this. You guys had no thought of being on the Dave Ramsey show, screaming that you're debt free, right?
Right.
But like, what a celebratory moment where just like this culmination of all of the things where it's like, yeah, man, look what God did, and through your obedience of like, okay, Lord, like, we know that this is going to be hard. We know it's not going to be easy. We do hard things, right?
Yep.
But man, to the glory of God, we want to do this. So I know that, praise God for all of that. I know that this has reframed the way that you move in your todays, right? So you're now debt free.
Yep.
Yep.
What's your life look like now?
Well, I think part of the reason why we took this path is the vision that we had for our future. And part of that was that we wanted to have the ability for Ella to be a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And so
In
because
2 days,
in 2 days.
that becomes
Are you
reality.
serious?
Yeah.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's completely reframed everything.
It has.
Everything.
Yeah.
Our whole orientation of our marriage and everything has been towards moving towards this goal.
Yeah. And your generosity, right? Like,
Yep.
I won't talk about specific things that you've done, but I know like you're very generous to lots of people, and like you have the capacity to do that.
And it is the most fun thing you can do with money, especially when you don't have the debt hanging over your head.
Yeah.
We were just reading on the offering bucket out there, talking about giving without reserve or regret.
Like being a cheerful.
Yeah, that's
Being
right.
a cheerful
Yeah.
giver. And it's really hard to be a cheerful giver when you have a mountain of debt sitting over your head
Yeah.
that is looking to crush you.
Yeah.
So you're giving at that point more out of obligation.
That's
It
right.
tends to. And once that clears out and God puts something on your heart to do, you do it.
That's right.
And it's way easier, way more fun.
Come on, man! I love your story. I love your story. Thank you guys for sharing it. Seriously, I think it's amazing. And listen, there's enough people in our church who I'm sure are struggling through this, and My prayer is that this would just be a huge encouragement to them. And I know some of you may not know Nathan and Ella, but I'm sure that you guys would be happy to face share your story with them and encourage them. So I just appreciate your testimony. I appreciate your love for Jesus, your desire to honor him in all things, which includes the way you manage what he's entrusted you, and attacking that debt and the freedom that you now have. And praise God, 2 days from now, you're going to be able to be a stay-at-home mom, which has been a dream, which, man, praise God. It's amazing. I love this. All right. Anything that you didn't say that you'd want to say about your story that I didn't ask you?
Probably the funnest fact about our whole story. So we started a social media business.
Okay.
In the middle of all this.
No way.
Yes. Yeah. So it was one of our side gigs, and it was something I did just for the fun of it.
Okay.
And it was always around our dog. Our dog, her name's Maple, and she's quite goofy. So I started a TikTok account around her, started an Instagram, and it grew over the course of the next 6 months to a year to about 250,000 followers.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I had no idea about this.
Yeah.
This is so awesome.
Yeah, it was like about 130 million views.
Are you
And
serious?
yes, it was just absolutely crazy. It didn't do a ton for us financially, but
it was a fun creative.
That's
It was
so
a fun
fun.
creative way.
That
Yeah.
is so fun. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Man, I love this story. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So man, like, you get the honor of being on Behind the Sermon and More. I know you've been on Dave Ramsey, and I know you've got Maple. I know we've got royalty sitting here. This is awesome. Man, seriously, thank you for taking the time to do this. I've got a couple of really important questions to ask before we end, though.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Did you have anything, Ella, that you
No.
wanted to add? Okay. All right. So, favorite movie of all time?
Ella knows this for me.
Okay. What is it?
It's Top Gun.
Top Gun? Is
Yes,
it?
it is.
Yes.
Did you like the newer one or no?
I did. We were
Okay.
actually just talking about it at work today.
Okay.
As we were having a debate at work whether or not the newest one was actually better than the old one.
What'd you decide?
And I'm about 50-50, but a lot of people are landing on the newer one being
No
better
way.
than the older one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah. Best movie of all time for me.
Top Gun. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Ella, what about you?
Oh gosh, probably Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
That's awesome. Robin Williams is hilarious in anything.
Any of
right?
his movies.
Like anything.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Favorite food. Do you have a favorite food?
Steak.
Steak. Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't get
Nice
a lot of that for
ribeye.
a while, right? When you're
No,
paying off debt.
definitely did not. We would splurge for bacon.
At
That
the
was our
end of the
splurge.
month,
That's awesome.
If we had any left over in the grocery budget, that was
is
a splurge.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
For me, I would say sushi.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of sushi lovers here, man.
Yes.
People love some sushi.
Or crawfish, actually.
Yeah, okay.
Might
Yeah, you're
have
from
been.
Mobile. That's right. That's
She introduced me to crawfish.
okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
going back to your roots right there.
Yep.
That's good. That's good. All right, this is kind of rapid fire questions, okay, for both of you. So, Ella, coffee or tea?
Neither.
Neither. Okay.
It
What's
makes my insides feel hot. I just
like
no
the
thanks.
like the caffeine part.
The temperature of it. I just-
Okay.
Water.
Gotcha.
If I'm gonna drink something different, it'll probably be Dr Pepper.
Oh, okay. So, are you a fan of like the new Dr Peppers? What are they called? The dirty Dr Peppers.
Oh,
Has like the
yeah.
What do they put in it? What
I
is
think
it?
some people do like coffee creamer.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter got one the other day, and she's
They're
like,
good.
"Dad, it's amazing." And
Yeah.
she was wired the whole night. It was awesome. All right, Nathan, beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Mountains. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Nice. What's your favorite spot in the mountains?
Ooh, I'm not sure. So I say mountains because I used to be a mountain biker, and
Oh, okay.
I loved doing mountain biking for many, many years.
Okay.
And we went to Whistler, Canada,
Oh,
for
wow.
our debt-free honeymoon. So the first thing we did after we cleared debt and got our emergency funds in place, we took a big trip to Whistler, Canada, and did mountain biking.
Let's go.
Yeah.
It was
Let's go.
wonderful.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So are you beach or mountains, Ella?
Oh gosh, I grew up by the beach, so I'd probably say the mountains.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the same way. It's like being in Florida. Fun fact about Florida, I've said this before, but no matter where you live, you're never further than 60 miles from the coast.
Yep.
So like the beach is beautiful, but like I didn't see mountains, so they amaze me. All right, what about you? Coffee or tea, Nathan?
Coffee,
You're a coffee guy. How
Yeah.
do you drink your coffee?
black, cold brew.
Okay, there you go. You're a real man. Yeah. All right. Awesome.
I got hair on my chest.
That's right. So I asked that question to a lot of people, and they'll like tell me things that I don't even know how to explain it. Like the things that they drink, I'm like, I would never know how to order what you just said. There's lots of things to that.
Yeah.
All right. Are you an early bird or are you a night owl?
Early bird.
Okay.
Wake up at 4 a.m.
4 a.m. Okay. Why?
To go to the gym at 5 before
Okay.
school / before
Nice.
the babies wake. So
So what gym do you go to?
O2 and Holly
Oh,
Springs.
nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
My wife's so similar to you. She's like a 4 a.m. Devo coffee. Not coffee. You're not a coffee person. She's a coffee person. And then she does like Burn boot camp
yeah.
before she takes
Yeah.
our youngest to school. Yeah.
I used to do Orange Theory,
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's awesome.
so I get that.
Yeah. So Nathan, early bird.
Early
night
bird
owl?
as well.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what time do y'all go to bed?
Like 8.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. You're my people. All right. Ella, books or podcasts?
I would say in this season podcasts.
Yeah.
It's easier.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. What about you?
Audiobooks.
You like audio? Is audio? Are you considered? Do you consider like listening to audiobook that you have read the book? Like, would you consider it that you read the book?
Yes.
You would. Okay. There's debates about
I would
that.
say
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of people I know. They say you didn't read the book; it was read to you. That's what they would say. I disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think you count it as read too. I'm
Right.
not an audiobook
I
guy,
got the
but-
story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're having to use your faculties, right? It's just a
Yeah.
different kind of processor, but you're having to use, you have to really tune in. And
Yeah.
I think you can flip pages and not be in tune, right?
I'm also a slow reader, so
Yeah.
that's audiobooks are my cop out.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. All right. Here's the last one. Ella, text or call?
Oh gosh, depends on who it is
Okay.
and like what we're talking about.
Yeah. Gotcha. But you don't mind, you don't mind picking up
don't.
the phone verbally. You don't
No,
mind having that
if the
conversation.
text is we need to talk, then there needs to be some kind of explanation.
Yeah.
Because like, am I in trouble? Like, did I do something?
Yeah. Or just call me.
Just call me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. What about you, Nathan? Text or call?
Text. I have way too many calls with
Yeah.
work.
Okay, got you. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Very cool. Well, hey, listen, thank you guys for your time. Thanks for your story. Thanks for your testimony. Man, to God be the glory for all of it. And I'm excited to see how he's going to use this in the lives of others who maybe are tuning in this podcast, but also how he's going to use your ministry personally with the people that you rub shoulders with in God's providence and share your story with. I think, man, God's just going to continue to bless what he's done in and through you. So thank you for that. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
God
Thanks.
bless you. Thank you for listening to Behind the Sermon and More. We will see you next week.